Hey guys, Alexander Williamson here with The Secret History in Your Aquarium. I am going to just give you a quick update of my tanks, not too much science today, just wanted to show you what creatures I have, where they're at, what I've been up to, and then that kind of will give you a little bit of insight into the future videos coming up. As things unfold, as certain fish have babies, as plants grow, as I move things around or alter things, I'll be talking about them. Everything from algae and photosynthesis to these ruby tetras that are in the tank and their cool movement, which is like a jerky movement. They move and then they stop, and then they move and then they stop. And a lot of times there's three of them in this tank. There really should be more. They're communal fish. But the whole point of them is to eat the copepods and other little mites and things that are in this tank. When it was just shrimp, it was having a bloom probably coming in from the maple leaves that I brought. Another thing I wanted to point out about the shrimp tank is that we have some tiger endlers and male and female. These ones are bred in the Seattle area by a hobbyist who must be very skilled. I don't know his name because I got them from a shop. But I picked these ones out over all the tiger endlers I've seen for a long time in that they have spade tails shape-wise, and then they have a black line up front heavily, whereas some of them in the trade don't. And so also within their own litter, some of them didn't. But I picked these ones because they had blue on the bottom of their tail and top of their tail. They had stripes, they had leopard spots, and they had the black spot and then kind of an orange color as well. So they kind of had everything I was looking for and the spade tail. And that's why I picked them, because I'm hoping to, in the next litter, maybe get, 15 or 20 and get rid of the ones that aren't enhancing. Like this guy right here, if I could make the black spot a little bit smaller, that would be an ideal look for me. If I could get him all yellow almost, with a few bars instead of that black spot, that would be great. I actually like the blue highlight on the back of the tail. It's kind of cool. And then I like the orange that's coming through more, like the canary yellow rather than the neon yellow. So hopefully between the two of these guys and a couple females that we have in the tank who are very small, we'll have some endler breeding going on here soon. Then the next order of business in this tank is we've replanted it a little bit. I cycled it quickly by using old tank water from other tanks, and then I added only just a top off of water from the tap, of course treated. And right now we've got several different shrimp in here. This is the coal tank for shrimp, and we've got a pregnant cherry shrimp, not very high grade there, but there are a few cherries in this tank that are getting higher grades, like this guy right here. We're starting to see some higher gradations. He has probably blue in him, even though somebody was like, oh, it looks like a Bloody Mary because his legs are solid. Probably not. But so in any case, this tank right now, we've got 3 ruby tetras and the 4 endlers, 2 pairs. Wish I had more females, but I don't have access to their pure line, and I don't want to mess with the line by just getting some plain looking endler and hoping for the best. We've got some Anubias growing, we've got some wisteria growing, and new crypts in the tank. We've also got a new biofilter in the form of a filtration sponge on the intake. So hopefully that will allow more surface area than the last sponge to be cultured with beneficial bacteria. And then even though I don't necessarily want copepods and things like scuds, like bigger size stuff, like overtaking the tank, which within 2 days of noticing them, they started to really make an impact on the tank. Like you could see them everywhere, and I didn't want them to get out of control. So that's why I threw in the ruby tetras, which have very, very, very small mouths. If you take a look at them, they are kind of nippy fish, but they have small mouths, And then same with the endlers. They have smallmouths and they're small fish. So hopefully that works out. I know that some of the shrimp are going to get eaten. Right now I have a razorback female that just had her clutch just hatched, and I haven't seen the babies yet, but I know that she had at least 6 viable shrimplets that I could see. So that's what's going on. Nitrogen was at about 20, and so I wanted to keep that in check since these guys are so sensitive to nitrogen, but also wanted to keep the plants alive and all that. So we also are adding some water lettuce. Hopefully there's no duckweed in that. And then we've also got the stick in here that's manzanita wood, and then that actually had a biofilm of beneficial bacteria from sitting in my other tank for about a month. So over here, last thing, this is kind of set up to be the nursery area between these rocks and sticks and things for really teeny shrimp, even though it's kind of by the filter intake. And then we've also got some Monte Carlo that is kind of ground trailing and carpeting here, and some willow moss that's starting to come up the side of that back rock. And those are all great feeding spots and hiding spots. So that's the deal with that tank. Then this tank right now, we just did a little bit of shuffling, and we've got it pretty full at the moment. We've got a flame guppy, as well as a pork chop or harlequin rasbora, 5 ember tetras, 10 neon green tetras. In here are sakura fire or greater, so painted fire shrimp. You can see here, this one's not the highest grade, but none of them can you make out saddles, so they're all at least that strong of a gene pool, and I'll pull from the other shrimp colony when I see really good ones. We've also got 6 rummy nose. I just moved these happy little Corydora habrosus into here, even though there's already 5 Corydora julii. It's full 40 bow front tank. It's kind of pushing the limits as far as it's definitely at its inch per gallon, if you want to believe that, but I don't really follow that anyways. It's got over 20 species of plants growing in it, and it's coming along nicely. I think I might rearrange the rocks a little bit to give it a more of, in this tucked in area, more of an area for the baby possible shrimp to spawn, whereas right now they kind of have some java moss and some other stuff, some dwarf hairgrass and octopus plant, things like that, which isn't the best necessarily. It's not terrible, but with all these fish, there's a good chance they'll get eaten, even though, you know, shrimp hide anyways. There's no CO2 going into this tank or anything, just keeping it overstocked essentially. And then it's my guppy grow out tank on top of that. I know some people might think that's insane, but if you've got a good intake filter that's got a colony of beneficial bacteria, and as well as an off the back filter that's equipped supposedly for up to 80 gallons, I believe, or 75, that should do pretty well, especially with all the plants and other substrates and things for them to grab a hold of. Lastly, we're going to come over here to the first tank out of the bunch that was set up at this house, and I took all the Corydora habrosus, which is the smallest species of Corydora in the trade, moved them out. We've got one female platinum galaxy half tuxedo hanging out up top there. She's been doing that the last couple days. I hope she's doing okay. It could be a sign of a parasite, could just be that she's tired, and it could also be something in the water, but given that all the other fish are feeling okay, I think it's just some random odd behavior going on, and maybe she'll feel better soon. She looks good other than that. She moves around quite a bit. But this tank, the main idea is I want to be having these Japanese, let's see if we can get them to sparkle for you guys. So these beauties, these There you go. That's exactly what I wanted you to see. These swallowtail, yellow. They've got yellow, purple, green, turquoise, and then they're just iridescent. They're like friggin' Elton John and Pavarotti had a baby. So they're just real pretty. In this tank, we've also got let's see here, probably 20 or 25 species of plants too. We've got Windelov Java fern, kabamba grass, a couple types of temple plant, including scarlet temple. It's all pretty low tech. Some of the temple plants aren't doing as well. We've got lots of bacopa. We've got a little bit of Monte Carlo. We've got, unfortunately, a bit of algae, but willow moss growing in here. We've got some different types of ferns. And then the whole point of this tank is, beyond the blue guppies and endlers, are these blue true topaz and blue dream proven lines. They don't throw anything else. The only thing that they do throw is shrimp that are about that inferior. So not bad. I mean, if that's the worst I'm getting out of the line. In fact, the problem with this line, if there is one, is basically that I'm getting some that are so dark that they appear black. But for the most part, you either get the solid blue or you get the topaz, which has that deep blue, but it's still translucent, and you can see their organs and their saddle and all that. In the tank, we'll have pearling from time to time without any CO2. This is where the very young fry guppies are also growing out again, just from this couple. So it's more of a colony. There's Saswasartong in there. There's Java moss. All sorts of stuff. There's dwarf hairgrass, Starogene repens, Ammonia gracilius, lots of different plants going on in here. And the idea is just to see what does well, and especially since I'm not adding iron to the water or anything, there is a little bit of iron in these rocks, and there's some sulfur and silica. But other than that, I'm just letting it take its course. There are quite a few snails in here, sometimes a little more than to my liking, but what are you gonna do? Then beyond that, I've got the largest size they had at the fish store, a sponge filter, and then I've also got a 20-gallon hang off the back filter, which just there's no carbon running in it right now. It's just got the bio rings and a sponge. And then today, this is brand new, and it's already collected that much stuff and is starting to inoculate. Hopefully, I need some more phyto and zooplankton for the shrimp babies if I really want them to start kicking off. But they really like this rock over here. And I know that they're going to get picked off by the guppies, but it's okay. It's kind of like if I can get one, that's fine. So if one's helping the other one by getting eaten, that'll be okay in the end. That being said, the blue shrimp, I did pay pretty good money for them, so I would like them to stick around, hopefully. Some of them have really nice colors like this, and then there's also like a mutation, pardon the algae on the grass, that some of them have like a very electric blue, like kind of like the back tail of this one. And in here, I think there's about just under a dozen of them, and I probably need to hit about 20 before they really start producing regularly. I took those mini Corydora hebrosus out. I think they were eating the baby shrimp, and then also I noticed, so I started with 6 Corydora hebrosus, and I thought, well, I want them to reproduce. Maybe they'll reproduce, maybe not. Maybe they'll just pick up junk. Well, when I went to fish them out of the tank, I pulled 6 out of the tank, and I thought, great, I got 6 out of the tank. Walk by again later, and I see 3 more, and I'm like, did I not, what happened? So turns out that they actually reproduced at some point and grew up without me noticing. So I think they were hiding back behind these rocks, I've kind of got a dead zone of water, but it's really densely packed with hiding spots and things, as well as, you know, the rocks and under the filters and sticks. So there's also caves that I've dug just so different critters can live in there. So that's what's going on. A little sneak peek, and if you know me in my videos, then you know that that means I'm going to be talking about 30 different species of plants. I'm going to be talking about endlers. I've been talking with some guys who are old timers, if you will, up to 80 years old, that have been keeping endlers since they were teenagers, keeping guppies, and have some incredible information and resources. One guy in particular out of Michigan has a line that he has kept for almost 60 years. Believe that or not, it's insane. He said he had to pass it off to a couple friends for, 5 years at a time here and there, but he's still got his strain of guppies from Trinidad when he went down there in I think it was the 1950s, so 50s or 60s. But yeah, so interesting stuff coming up. Going to be talking about the history of who collected what species and where it was bred. I have a friend who has a microscope that's going to be coming over, and we're going to be looking at what's in the water column, what your shrimp are eating, what your fry are eating. So lots of good stuff coming up. Talking about hydroponics as well, of growing some extra plants outside the tank, how you can make a little bit of money growing not just in your tank but on top of your tank if you're short on room, and lots of good stuff planned. So please stay tuned if you're enjoying this channel and enjoying listening to me chatting back with me on Messenger and whatnot. I really love talking with y'all. I would be really appreciative if you could give me a thumbs up and or subscribe if you feel I've earned it. Beyond that, I'm trying to keep the lights on these fish tank, and it's expensive to live in Seattle. So if you feel so inclined, even $1 on Patreon means a lot. And so I'll be including that link in my videos because the way YouTube has monetized is, you get 1,000 views on a video, and that may only translate to $1 in revenue. And then you have to pay taxes on that. So in the end, you need to be pulling in like 500,000 views or something like that, and you're still not making the big bucks. You're just, it's not a correlation of clicks and likes and followers or views. Now it's this complex algorithm of like who bought products after looking at those things and all sorts of stuff. So you could have 10,000 views and only make like $3, or you could have 10,000 views and you could make $20. It just kind of depends. That being said, though, I'm nowhere near that as a channel yet, and I'm really trying to grow. So every time you guys share and interact and help out and suggest cool projects that we can do and history that you want covered, that definitely helps us grow together as a channel, and the fish stay happy and healthy. So please take care of yourself, take care of your fish, tell everybody in your life that you love them, including your fish. It's that time of year where it's a little cold, and sometimes your fish tank can bring a little warmth into your life. So thanks for viewing, and I'll talk to you next time. Lots of stuff to look forward to, and take care, guys. Keep on swimming. This is Alex Williamson. Bye.